Welcome to this month's Exercise of the Month. Today we're going to look at how we can make some of the exercises we do in these videos, the more strength and flexibility based exercise, give you a little bit of a cardiovascular benefit. So we're going to look at ways of making a bit more tension in the holds, get your heart rate going, give you a little bit of a kind of boost to that cardiovascular fitness. This type of exercise is generally referred to as adding tension or just kind of decent freezes or holds. There's a few different terms we use for them. The general philosophy of them is you want to be trying to think about each joint within the exercise and then adding tension to it. And as an accumulative effect of that, you're going to get some loading through the muscles, through such a large number of muscles that your blood needs to get a little bit more oxygen out to those muscles. So that means that holding these positions gets your heart rate up and trains that increase and recovery time in the heart and lungs. So it's a different kind of cardio. When we think about cardio, most of us think about running or cycling or more kind of stereotypical aerobic exercise, whereas what this is doing is making you work hard in a very short time scale. With these exercises, my advice would be to try and do a little bit of a warm-up, just 30 seconds or so fast walking on the spot, skipping rope, walk up and down the stairs 3 or 4 times just to get your legs going a little bit, get your heart and lungs going in a more traditional aerobic sense. And then once you're warm, then you'll be able to kind of properly commit to these positions and get a little bit of benefit in both flexibility, strength, and hopefully cardiovascular fitness. This kind of strength training as well, very, very good for fat burn and insulin tolerance as well. So it can be shown as little as 3 minutes a week of holding this really high intensity position can give you a benefit in insulin tolerance and really help to change that kind of metabolic rate picture, which is how many calories you burn day to day. That's as little as 3 minutes a week, so that might only be 30 seconds 6 days a week or something like that. You start to rack up 3 minutes there. That doesn't take very much time out of your day, and it's quite easy to do. But as I say, just make sure you factor in some warm-up just to get yourself going on this one. So I'm nice and warm, I'm ready to go in this exercise. We're going to do some basics to start with, but the thing to take home from this is the principle I'm using to make the exercise work for me. So I'm just going to show you a basic squat to start with. So we're down into a basic wide knee squat, feet are close to parallel, not out like Charlie Chaplin. We're going to hold the shoulders back, we're going to tuck the chin, and what we're going to do is we're going to start to add tension. So here I might lift the toes, I can then squeeze the feet in, keeping those knees out. I can press out with the knees into the hands or press in with the knees into the hands to add a bit of tension. You might be able to see it, I'm starting to get a little bit shaky as I'm doing this. You can then squeeze through the abdominal muscles, roll the shoulders back and really tuck the chin. Holding this position is using a great deal of effort. It doesn't have to just be body against body. You can squeeze against the floor, you can grip the toes, you can push the hands together, you can pull the hands apart, but just adding tension. So I've looked from ankles, knees, hips, abdominal area, shoulders, elbows, up to the neck, in the chin tuck position and forcing those shoulders down. Adding tension everywhere. Hasn't taken me very long. I can feel my heart pounding. I can feel that I'm a little bit out of breath. I'm trying to get some oxygen into those muscles. That's only one exercise. Taking the same exercise, there are other ways of making it harder or easier to add tension. These can be things like resistance bands. These looped ones are my favourite ones to use for these sort of exercises. So we'll use a different example this time. We can do a lunge type exercise. So in a lunge, we can wrap the band around the feet, try and keep the feet under the hips. So you're trying to keep the body nicely square on, step forwards into a lunge. And now I've got the band trying to pull the feet in, and then I can just try and push the feet out into the band, squeeze the knees out. You can do the same sort of position with the band around the knees. So you're adding tension to the exercise higher up. It's easier to hold a longer position here. You can then squeeze the floor or push the floor away with the feet. Same routine again, hands together and pull the hands apart, tuck the chin, squeeze the abs and hold. This sort of position is really difficult to hold without getting a significant amount of increase in heart rate, which is the aim. Doesn't take long to do it, and I'm getting that heart pounding. Most of these exercises, much more difficult to do with the arms above the head. The tendency is to flare the tummy out, to make the ribs stick out. What we're trying to do is we squeeze through the abs as we bring the arms up and then tuck the chin. And that's adding a huge amount of tension through the body, while also simultaneously making your shoulders a little more flexible. The last way we can add tension, and therefore that cardiovascular kind of benefit, that tension, that press, is to add weight. So this is a fairly small weight, it's a 4 kilo. It's quite a lot for a lot of the exercises we do, but in this case you want to be using the largest weight you can safely move without an injury, because that will get the maximum load into the system in a minimum time. What we're not trying to do are big expansive movements, we're trying to stay very basic, but add bucket loads of tension through the body. So in this one, I'm going to use the example of a plank. A plank in itself, if done properly, with the elbows squeezing into the body and the feet squeezing into the elbows, the chin tucked and the shoulders really rolled into the correct position, is a very high tension maneuver to start with. So this is a brilliant one to get your heart rate going. We can take it from there to a push-up position with a weight, and actually we can start just taking a weight out and holding at a distance, trying to keep tension, good posture, holding that. I'm starting to get shaky, so I can certainly feel the benefit for myself doing these positions. Is really, really intense positions that are simple to achieve and easy to do from a postural point of view. These things are really going to load you up in a safe way, but they fit really well into day-to-day life. Do those 3 examples I've given you. You've got the squat, the lunge, and the plank with a weight. Those 3 could easily be done 30 to 40 seconds each with very small rests in between. You're looking at less than 3 minutes. Add 30 seconds of going up and down the stairs to warm up. And you've got a really nice compact routine that would fit lovely around day to day. It doesn't take much time, doesn't take much effort. Because of the time frame we're working in, you're not going to get hugely sweaty. You're just going to be kind of pumping through the heart and getting those muscles activated. So you don't necessarily need immediately to run to a shower like you might do after going for a run. So it's a really nice way to fit around lunch breaks, mornings, evenings, all that kind of thing. Hopefully we've just given you a little tool to get your cardiovascular fitness improving with your flexibility and your strength. I think that's a nice, concise way of talking about it. We'll cover some more detail about this in later dates. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next month.